Okay, Rabbi Isai, we welcome you back for the learning of the Mishna Yomis. We are in the third parak of Beitza on this Tuesday evening of Shabbos Parshas Ekev, and we are learning Mishna Dalid and Hey in the third parak, sponsored Lilu Nishmas Kasya Bas Shlomo, Lefu Shlema for Eliyahu Moshe ben Chaya Sarah, and for the schus of Avraham ben Yamin Benish ben Malki Yehudis and family, by Yisrael Fisherman family, Lilu Nishmas Basya Bas Robert Shlomo ben Avraham Alevi Peril Bas Ruvain, for Yo Klugman and family for their Gezun Parnasa and Nachas. And we learn from my Shver Avigdor Aryeh ben Rivka, he should have a refuah shalema b'seich shachal Yisrael. So Mishnah Dalid tells us bechar shenafal labar. Now bechar, the only way you could use it is, of course, a bechar has to be brought as a carbon, unless it gets a permanent blemish. But in order for the kohen to use it for a barbecue, he has to bring it to a mumcha to inspect it and paskin that it's a permanent blemish. Now that might be a din, a legal process which is not allowed on Shabbos. So that's the shaila of our Mishnah. Bechar shenafal labar, a bechar that fell into a pit, and they would like to bring it up and shecht it on Shabbos, but they can't shecht it unless a Chacham examines it and declares it a permanent blemish. And if it's not a permanent blemish, then it's muksa, and you can't bring it up from the bar. So b'char shenafal labar, Rabbi Yehuda Aimer yerid mumcha v'yira, an expert should go in the bar and examine it. And im yesh by mum, if it has a blemish, then they could bring it up and shecht it. Yala v'yishchet. But if not, lo yishcha, you can't slaughter, and then of course you can't bring it up from the bar because it's muktzah. Reb Shimon says you're not allowed to inspect it on Yom Tov. That's a legal activity. It's like judging a court case, which you're not allowed to do. So Reb Shimon kol shein mumay nikar mebayit yaim, if its blemish wasn't ruled on from before Yom Tov, ein zeh min hamuchen, it's not prepared, it's therefore muksa, and they can't bring it up from the bar. Of course, they can't shecht it. Now, behema shemesa, an animal that dies, now here we're talking about an animal of kachim. It's interesting that this is ikur chasim in our Mishnah, but this is what it's talking about. It's similar to the end of the Mishnah that talks about challah. We're talking about an animal of kachim that died. Now this poses a big problem, because ein poidin as a kachim lachim on the kalavim, you can't redeem it to feed it to a dog. And others say that once kachim dies, you can't redeem it, because to redeem it you have to do hamada v'haracha. You have to stand it up and evaluate it. You can't do that if it's dead. So either way it can't be redeemed, so you can't do anything with it. You won't be able to feed it to a dog. So therefore, it's muksa lo yezizana mimikaymi. You can't move it from its place. Umaysa v'shalu es Rabbi Tarfon oleha v'alachala shenitma. There was an incident that they asked Rabbi Tarfon about it, about an animal of kachim that died, and about challah that they separated from a doe that became tamei. Now here too you got a problem. Challah that's separated and becomes tamei is also. The only thing you're allowed to do it is you're allowed to benefit it while you burn it. But you can't do that on Yom Tov, because you can't be surfing kachim b'Yom Tov. So there's no way to benefit from it. So they asked him, could they move it to a place where it doesn't lie in disgrace? V'nichnas l'beis hamedrash v'shal. Now he knew that it was muktzah, but he wasn't sure that maybe, so not to leave the dead animal of kachim or the the chal that was tummy, maybe you could move it to the side. But they said, Lo yazizay mimekaimam, it can't be moved from its place. I'd like to thank everybody for joining us and remind you that tomorrow night, after the daf, we will have a chumash shir, so it's something special to look forward to. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.